Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the November 14th, 2023 Town Council meeting. I would ask that we start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This time, I would ask that we take a moment of silence to reflect on everything that's happening near and abroad throughout the whole world. Thank you. In accordance with Mass General Law, this meeting is being audio and video recorded, and I need to ask if anyone in the audience is recording. Okay, seeing none. Public comments. Deanie, do we have anyone signed up for public comments?
No one has signed up, no.
Okay. Don, is there anyone on Zoom for public comments that would raise their hand?
Nope.
Okay. Next is council comments. Counselor, have anything? Connor?
This one, I just want to, I know it's our next item on the agenda in a minute or two, but I just wanted to say thank you to the clerk's office, Jeannie and Jackie and our whole team for putting on another smooth election. Results were very good, so thank you.
Thank you.
Looks like the poll pads worked flawlessly.
Yes, I will report on that.
So I will state that tonight we do have a counselor zooming in, and so all votes tonight will be by roll call. Next agenda item is town manager's report. Tom, do you have a report for us?
I do. I'm still adding to it. Good evening. Sorry. Like Connor just alluded to, on November 7th, the voters of East Long Meadow overwhelmingly voted in favor of a debt exclusion to fund a new high school and natatorium projects. The voter turnout was massive. So again, kudos to everybody on Jeannie's team. School building committee is going to turn their efforts to the construction phase of the project. As they say, now the real work begins. RFQs for contractor selection are actually going to be open tomorrow. And then shortly thereafter, interviews will start with those contractors that submitted. The schedule right now is to have construction start at some point in the summer of 2024. So not too far away. So again, I don't want to say too much about the election. I know Jeannie's going to cover most of it. But they do deserve a lot of kudos for another smoothly run election. I guess most people, including myself, really until this year realize how much work and planning goes into putting on an election, let alone an election with a 40% turnout or something like that. So again, thanks to everybody in the clerk's office who not only had the election going early and on the day of, also still running one of the most public facing departments in the town, never closed, right? So kudos to your entire staff. Pleased to introduce Rebecca Lisi as the new deputy town manager. Her first day was Monday. She's finishing up the fall semester at UMass. She was a professor, and so she wasn't able to make it here tonight, but the semester's over beginning of December, so she'll be here for the December meeting. She was previously a Holyoke City councilor for 14 years. holds a master's and PhD in political science from UMass as well. Policy expertise in planning, zoning, and economic development, grant writing, and obviously an intimate knowledge of budget prep and process. So we're excited to have her as part of the team. Unfortunately, we're losing a member of the team as well. Excuse me, we have to say goodbye to Planning and Economic Development Director Bailey Mitchell. He's on his way back to the Midwest to be closer to his family. He accepted a position with the city of Chicago as coordinator of economic development 1, and our loss is surely their gain. Sort of an understatement. Bailey actually accomplished a tremendous amount. He was only here for 18 months. I don't know if it seemed like 5 years. But he really did the town a great service, and he'll be missed. And best of luck, Bailey. I see you out there. We successfully completed contract negotiations with the UPSI clerical and professional units, DPW Local 169, and East Long Meadow Permanent Firefighters Local 2426. You have MOAs in front of you tonight. So you can authorize me to sign those, or vote to authorize to sign those later to make that official. There was a lot of activities in October. Celebrate EL on center field was a huge success. Special thanks to Katie Hill and the Rotary Club. Again, countless volunteers, town departments, numerous vendors to make the event a smashing success. The second annual Oktoberfest at Brown Farm was rained out, and then we got the best day of October on the rain day on the 28th. So thanks to Rec Department, Rec Commission, more volunteers and vendors. Another day at a great town property at Brown Farm. Obviously, I have upcoming events here, Veterans Day. I attended the Veterans Dinner here at the COA last Thursday. Senator Oliveira was here, Rep. Pupolo, Rep. Ash. Council on Aging obviously put on a stunning event. That's what they do. So that was a great event. They let me bring my brother Drew, he was my +1, so that was nice. Another event I attended that same day, actually, they had a Veterans Day ceremony at Mountain View School, which I want to say thanks to Norma Campbell and Principal Elaine Santinello for sort of starting that process with the kids so young, to let them know how important Veterans Day is and how important our veterans are to our everyday life, and to give thanks. And then obviously we had the Veterans Day parade on Veterans Day morning, which was again very well attended this year. Rep. Ash was there, Councilors Page, Hill, Jones, O'Shea, and Torsha also in attendance. And I just want to say another thank you to all of our veterans who, not just on Veterans Day, but every day, we should be thankful for our freedom that they provide, literally. One more. Yesterday, Senator Oliveira, Rep. Pupolo, and Rep. Ash were at the American Legion Post 293, presenting them with a check for $25,000 to do some building renovations over there. At the building is much needed repairs. And lastly, Rebecca and I attended a ribbon cutting for Katie's Closet today at 16 Deer Park Drive. Katie's Closet provides clothing and basic necessities to students across the entire county that don't have the means to otherwise get this clothing, necessities, shampoo, the whole bit. So it's another great business in town. Obviously, their website is katiescloset.org. And then I guess we'll upcoming events, November 30th, capital is due, so let's start the budget process. That's all I got tonight.
Any counselors have any questions, comments?
I just had two quick ones. First, I wanted to thank also Bailey Mitchell, being chair of the planning board. He was incredibly helpful. We got, talking a lot about the issues. So he was very professional. So I really appreciated his service when I was both a member and navigating being chair for the first time. And secondly, I think the election went great as well. And I was appreciative of, I think it was a clear mandate to the community, the vote. It was very decisive, not just close 52-48, one way or the other. It was very decisive. And I think that's really helpful as counselors to know where the pulse of the town really is. And being 40% being a very high turnout for a local election. So.
Great. Else? Okay. Under communications, correspondence, and announcements. 7th special town election update. Hey, do you have an update?
Yes, I do. So starting with early voting, I just wanted to thank you for support and opting in for this local election. We had almost 1,200 people come in to vote for the Saturday and week prior to, which was 9% turnout of all voters, which is a lot more than our last local election. And we're able to use 2 poll pads. LHS, the vendor, was able to program 2 poll pads to cover all precincts for check-in, and it was very efficient. And the back end too, without getting into too much detail, it was a lot faster getting the voter history in for the next day. I had to upload a new file every morning, so all the previous day's history was in there, and it was a snap to do. So that was great. So thanks again for supporting me on that. The election is a village in a village in a village. There's a lot of people involved, my staff, the election workers, library director, and giving us the space, DPW moving the equipment for us, the police, everybody, town manager, everybody's just I'm grateful for every single person on my team. So we just finished today. We were able to tally up the provisional votes and investigate which votes counted. And that's when somebody goes to the polls and their name's not on the poll pads in the voter list. We have to have them vote provisionally. The ballot's not cast. We have to go back to our office and research the records. And some people insist they're a registered voter. Well, maybe they are in Springfield and not in East Long Meadow. So then we just sent out letters to all those people. I think all but 2, Jackie, counted. There was a few of those. So I can read off the new numbers. They're not much different. Maybe changed maybe 2 dozen or so less in all categories. So the question number 1 for the school, the final votes for the yes vote was 3,598, and the no votes are 1,618. And then the question 2 for the natatorium pool, yes votes were 3,240, and the no votes were 1,949. So we did have the 10 poll pads going. Thank you again for the 5 additional poll pads for the purchase of those. We had each check-in person working those, and it flowed pretty smoothly. And then, as you know, we had a lot of inactive voters. So I set up an inactive table right next to the check-in to get everything done right there. So people weren't walking back and forth to get a ward in, and that worked out smoothly. So it was great to have 10 poll pads going to at each table. So again, thank you for that support for that purchase. It's almost a 40% turnout. And we do try to cover Facebook and robocall and the reminder, and people will still say, but come in like on Tuesday, can I vote early? And they'll no, you can vote down the street. It's election day. So you try to inform people, as with any town business, and people are gonna, claim that they don't know about it. But it was a busy day. Like I said, there's a lot post-election that we just finished today, right, Jackie? So we're like close the book. And I had to report on DLS for the debt exclusion votes. So I certified that today. I certified the election results to the collector, Don Fonte, for the bond council. And then we'll go from there with appropriation votes tonight. So
Excellent. Excellent. Was there a lot of inactive voters that had?
there was over 4,000 and we knocked off over 800. So that's if you don't return your census form, you're inactive, and people claim they do. And
does the census form go out each year?
it goes out around January 1st. So people have to return it to us. And that the census pretty much confirms you have a residence in East Long Meadow. And that's why I was putting out the word, if you check your status, if you're inactive, just send us any kind of proof that you're a resident in East Long Meadow and we can or update your census, and people don't understand the importance of that. So hopefully I'm going to try to put in something in bold letters, colored letters, maybe on this census to remind them again. And we did try a second mailing last year and it cost a lot of money and we didn't get a lot back on the second mailing.
Right.
So
How many people voted by mail, or how much did that end up being?
oh, do you know, Jackie, what that figure was? No, I didn't have that broken down. There was hundreds. Yeah,
600.
yeah. Wow.
Well, between early voting.
Early in-person voting and vote by mail is in the same category when we record it, so.
Okay. Anyone have any further questions?
1 week later and the election's finally done. Extra
And
work.
January 1st, we're gonna start working for the March presidential primary that has mandated early in-person. A little Christmas respite and get back to it.
Okay, 6B, it is a letter to Craig Jernstrom from myself. So I just wanted, we had public comment at our last two meetings, so I thought it would be appropriate. I did respond. I'd like to read into the record the response because there was some specific questions. So, dear Mr. Jernstrom, thank you for your questions under public comments at our town council meetings on September 13th, 2023 and October 10th, 2023, whether the purchase lease of 382 North Main Street, East Long Meadow was included in the town's FY23 annual budget. The answer is no. The FY23 operating budget and capital plan did not contain any appropriations for purchases, leases for municipal or school buildings. The purchase or lease of buildings and land for municipal or school use has historically never been included within our operating or capital budget. Typically, the principal and interest payments associated with bonding for such purposes are located within the annual budget under a line item entitled debt service. Going forwards, I have asked our town manager to appoint a committee to conduct a comprehensive review of all buildings to assess current needs and necessary capital repairs and to create a capital plan for our buildings. At the October 12th, 2023 meeting, you also stated your concern that the charter was not being followed. The town council has and will always follow the rules and bylaws of the town. You quoted section 6.2, expenditures in excess of appropriations. At its December 13th, 2022 meeting, the town council appropriated a sum of money for the potential purchase lease of 382 North Main Street, East Long Meadow. I hope the above explanations have clarified the concerns you raised. And that was mailed out to him. I've not heard any response. I think that answered the questions that he had. So moving on, our next up is public hearings. It's 6:20, beautiful. Timing is everything. So the first one is a tax classification hearing to determine the percentages of tax levy for fiscal year 2024. Public hearing is to determine the tax levy to be borne by each class of real and personal property for fiscal year 2024. Council members are Anna Jones, Matt Boucher, Kathy Hill, Ralph Page, Connor O'Shea, John Torsha, and zooming in is Marilyn Richards. I would ask that the clerk read the legal notice into the record at this time.
Notice is hereby given in accordance with MGL Chapter 30A, Sections 18 through 25, that the East Long Meadow Town Council will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, November 14, 2023 at 6:15 p.m. at the Council on Aging Media Room, 328 North Main Street, or via Zoom webinar. The purpose of this public hearing will be on the issue of determining the percentages of tax levy to be borne by each class of real and personal property for fiscal year 2024. All interested East Long Meadow taxpayers are welcome to attend this hearing to present any oral or written comments on the matter. In the event a taxpayer is unable to attend the hearing, written comments may be submitted in advance to Mr. Ralph E. Page, Town Council President, 60 Center Square, East Long Meadow, Mass.
And for the record, I received no mail. I would ask that our assessors step forwards.
Yeah, I think.
Doesn't need the remote.
No, I think it just went to.
So for the record, I would just ask for your name. Obviously, you're our assessor. And you're going to be presenting.
Uh-oh, password.
Passwords. Hopefully it's not on the screen.
Thank you.
Martin Grudgeon, Chairman, Board of Assessors.
And I'm Diane Bishop, the Director of Assessing for the town.
Welcome.
And our Assistant Assessor is over behind there, Carrie Ann Wenzel.
Thank you for coming.
Okay.
The floor is yours.
Just a prelude about where we're at with our values. Once again, we had an increase. For residential, last year we were up 11%. This year we're up 9%. So the values come from the sales of 2022. So we give you a value of 1123 and only look at for residential only sales from 2022. From 1122 to 123122. We had an increase of 9% from the prior year. And you may see in your package, we went from 339.8 for an average to 372.6. Now, we were doing our analysis late August, early September. We also looked at what might be coming up next year. And while we're doing that to the end of August, the average was at 400,000. And today I looked at it from J1 23 to today. These are MLS sales, so it's not ink to stone, showed an average of 428,000 for East Long Meadow. So it has not waned, it is rising. And this is for other towns too. All abutting towns are gone up. I'm also an appraiser, and I do know Northampton, for example, went up 22% last year, and they're scheduled to go up 25% this year. Our industrial and commercial went up too, combined with personal property, about 10%. Giving an example of a recent industrial sale, Industrial Drive sold for $1.95 million, arm's length sale, and that was assessed for $828,000. That happened in October. So it's also showing commercial industrial is rising. Our new growth was modest at 500,000. That's a good number. It came from a lot of remodels. It did not come from a lot of new construction. We didn't have a lot of new single family homes in 22, and we haven't had many in 23 either. Next year, we'll see more. We have 2 subdivisions coming. We'll see a lot more in 24. I'm sure both subdivisions will be going strong. So we continue to increase, and for residential and all properties. And Diane will take you to the next for the specific tax classification hearing.
So
Any questions on that about sales or anything? No? Okay.
I think we're good.
So each year, we always inform the town council that any numbers that we are providing are potential numbers until they're certified. It is not set in stone. I think that all of our information goes through the Department of Revenue. With no changes, the information in here should be accurate. The reason that we're having this meeting today is to decide on the factor, establish the allocation of the tax levy, and which means, are we going to have a split tax rate, or are we going to have one tax rate for all classes of property? So today, the town council will have to, whoops, next page.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. My PowerPoint would not come up, so we're using a PDF. So the town council today will have to make a couple decisions. The most important decision is to have the single or split tax rate. They also have the ability to vote to adopt a small commercial exemption or a residential exemption. And I will discuss each one of those as we get a little further in. So for fiscal year 24, we can look at how we started, which is the tax levy from the prior fiscal year and our tax rate. And we are allowed by Prop 2.5 to add 2.5% to our levy, and then any new growth. So you can see that we started at 49,637,135, and with our 2.5% and our new growth, we're up to 51,379,757. We are allowed to, outside of the levy limit, add any debt exclusions. And although you can see that we have two debt exclusions or two debt votes, the actual debt exclusion is $68,363. And if the town council is looking at theirs, originally it said 468, and it was my typo. We have had it corrected. Bottom line stayed exactly the same, but apparently I saw an 8 and a 3 kind of look the same. So our tax levy plus our debt exclusion to be starting off for our fiscal 24 projecting of tax rate is at 51,448,220. So when we are looking at this summary of tax rates, if the town council votes to have a factor of 1, which is a single tax rate, you can see that our residential tax levy is 80%, with our commercial, industrial, and our personal property being 16%. And the residential tax rate is projected to be 18%. We have a factor of 1. It will be the same for commercial, industrial, and personal property. So the town council could vote to shift this tax rate anywhere between the factor of 1 up to 50% towards the commercial, industrial, and personal property. And you can look at this chart that if the town council decided to vote to adopt a full 1.5 factor, the residential tax rate will come down a degree, but the commercial, industrial, and personal property will increase dramatically. So if we shifted 50% to the average single family tax residential home, their tax bill could possibly decrease by $667. But by doing this, we would be shifting an increase to commercial, industrial, and personal property, which could be an increase of approximately $8,328. And that's based on an average single family assessed home and an average single family assessed commercial industrial property. So the average single family assessed home at the present time is $372,600. with the average in commercial industrial assessed value at $898,300. Please keep in mind that's an average. If you think of some of our larger commercial industrial properties, they might be at 29 million, which could increase their taxes exponentially. So we do want to keep all of this in mind as we are making a decision. So when we look at the historical perspective, you can see we try to give you a range of fiscal years from 2018 to where we stand at the proposed 2024. You can see that we have actually have a smaller a smaller residential percentage than what we had in 2018. So a lot of times people say, well, when is the right time to shift a tax rate from a factor of 1 to a split? Generally, it should be getting larger to be considering split tax rates, and ours is getting just a tad smaller. So at this point, we have 84% is residential, 16% is commercial, industrial, and personal property. But you can see how our values have increased over the period of since fiscal 18. Another thing we also try to do is get neighboring towns, and we try to compare ourselves. What is the other towns? How are they looking? And you're going to find as you look at this that Long Meadow is probably one of the highest, and the lower ones would be Ludlow being probably the lowest out of them. We fall right around the center of this equation. Again, we're looking at averages and just trying to compare ourselves with other communities. Before I get into residential exemptions, this would be a perfect opportunity if anyone had a question. And if you do, I'll be happy to answer. If not, I'll move into residential exemptions.
Does anyone have any questions at this time? No questions for you.
Okay, thank you.
I actually,
Oh, yes.
for the other towns are I have a question, but I'm not sure how to ask it.
Okay.
So, for our residential compared to, commercial, it's the same.
So right now, we're all looking at residential homes.
Okay.
We're not even looking at commercial because
Okay.
most of these communities, we have about the same amount of residential and commercial. Every single one of these all have a single tax rate. Their percentage of residential is pretty high. So a lot of times they don't find that a split tax rate is beneficial to their community.
So that's what I was going to ask. So it's all one, none of these communities are split.
That's correct.
Thanks.
In general, in Massachusetts, towns have a single rate, cities have a split rate,
Got it.
general.
Okay.
And just as one additional factor, out of 351 municipalities, 232 municipalities have a single tax rate.
Got it. Thank you.
I was going to say in a few of these that are on the Cape, they have a split tax rate, but they make the burden go to the residential properties as opposed to the commercial properties, because that is where their money comes from, is the residential and a lot of rentals.
Right.
Just if I could have a clarification, Mr. Grudgeon, you said that the single tax rate is predominantly in suburban areas, and you might find a split rate specifically in the urban areas. Can I deduce that that's because there's a significant greater amount of commercial and industrial properties in bigger cities as opposed?
Absolutely. Springfield, Chicopee, I believe Greenfield,
Westfield's
Westfield's a city, West Springfield's a city, so it's called the city of West Springfield. Agawam is always up in the air, whether it's a town or a city, but in general, Pittsfield would have a split rate. Of course, Worcester, Boston, and a lot of surrounding Boston communities. So it's because of the heavy influence of commercial and industrial.
Thank you.
Questions? Okay.
Okay, so the town council also has to adopt a residential exemption and a small commercial exemption. So in discussing residential exemptions, this exemption, if it was adopted, does not change the total taxable value for residential properties. It just shifts the burden to larger valued properties, reduces the tax burden to smaller assessed properties. So whatever the total tax implication for residential properties still remain the same. You're just shifting it to different properties. So if you have a home that is worth 150,000, and I don't think we have one that's anywhere near that low, they would see a reduction, and then that house that's 750,000 would see a lot more. It's all staying within the same class. Presently, there are, out of 351, there are 18 municipalities that have adopted this exemption. Majority of them, as you can see in the next line, are the cities around and outside of Boston and on the Cape, because they have a much larger rental, and they are trying to focus on their actual residentially owned properties and of lower values. Personally, East Long Meadow taxpayers looking at the scenario would not benefit by this, unlike places like Boston or the. I'm going to jump right into small commercial exemptions unless somebody has a question. So the small commercial exemption is basically the same. We have to look at what the total value and the total tax implication of commercial properties are. Any property that's over $1 million in value and has a rental or actually occupied by a business that has less than 10 employees per year may qualify for this exemption. Out of the properties that we have within our community, there are 411 commercial, industrial, and mixed-use properties. There are only 62 that may qualify. This exemption doesn't change the taxable value. It just, again, shifts the taxable value from one property to another within that class of properties. It does not necessarily benefit the small business owner. It benefits the owner of the real estate. And again, in fiscal 23, there were only 14 communities who adopted the small commercial exemption out of 351. So there is a need for it in some areas, but we're not seeing a huge need that this is a large beneficial exemption that would benefit our community. I'm open to any questions, and if not, I would love to hear any thoughts and hopefully a vote.
Any counselors have any comments or questions at this time? Okay,
I have a
Go
question
ahead.
just for the clerk or for the assessor. This presentation is posted on the website because it's very succinct and explains for the average voter just how these numbers come to be the way they are. So.
Thank you. Thank you for mentioning that, because I meant to say this is all on the assessors. We did upload this so anyone can be viewing it. And I did mean to mention that before we started in case if anyone was watching. So yes, it is. And it will remain on our webpage until our next year's.
okay. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay, this is a public hearing. So at this time, I would invite the public, if anyone would like to speak or have a comment with regards to this, please come forwards and state your name and address. Don, is there anyone on Zoom?
Surely not.
Okay. So at this time, I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I move to close the public hearing.
Second,
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Anna?
yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
I am a yes. Connor?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
And Marilyn?
Yes.
Okay, the public hearing is closed then. So what is the will of the council? Like to say, I think historically, we've always done a tax rate of 1 I believe once in the past, we switched it and wasn't very successful. So we immediately went back. I think this actually helps with businesses that want to move into town. It helps the residents. I don't see personally any reason to switch from our tax rate of 1, but I would entertain any thoughts.
I agree.
I would also agree. The businesses in town are very good about supporting town projects as, you know, community partners. And I don't believe it would, it certainly doesn't benefit us as a town and the recipient of their goodwill to shift the tax burden and, you know, consciously move to increase their taxes.
It sort of seems like the trend is sort of what would be working against the viability of a split tax rate if you're going from like 18% or 16% down to 15 or 14%. That's a share for partial.
Any other comments?
No.
So would someone like to make a motion?
Make a motion to approve the town of East Long Meadow adopt for fiscal year 2024 tax rate a factor of 1, a single tax rate with no residential or small commercial exemptions.
I'll second that.
Having a motion made and seconded. Any other discussion with it? Okay, hearing none. This is a roll call vote. Anna,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
I am a yes. Connor,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
and Marilyn.
Yes.
Okay, we have a factor of 1. Thank you both very much.
Thank you. And
Thank you for the presentation. It was excellent as always.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously the culmination of a lot of work. So Marty and Marilyn for the board, thank you. Diane, Carrie Ann, and Melissa for the assessors. Great work. Thank you.
Beautiful. Okay, so next on the agenda is a 6:30 public hearing to address a proposed zoning amendment in relation to home office, the second reading. So this is a public hearing to address a proposed zoning amendment relative to the home office and a second reading of the amendment. Our council members are Marilyn Richards, John Torsha, Connor O'Shea, Ralph Page, Kathy Hill, Matt Boucher, and Anna Joan. I would ask the clerk to read the legal notice into the record at this time.
Meadow Town Council will hold a public hearing on November 14, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. in the media room of the Council on Aging located at 328 North Main Street for the purpose of addressing a proposed amendment of Town of East Long Meadow zoning bylaws, section 450, table 3.1, schedule of use regulations and article 6 definitions in relation to home office in order to improve administrative efficiency / clarity, improve consistency with Massachusetts general laws. Petitioner, Town of East Long Meadow Planning Board, 60 Center Square, East Long Meadow. Information relating to pending bylaw amendments is available for public inspection at the Town Hall, 60 Center Square. An electric version of the proposed amendments at town website. Public hearing may also be attended via Zoom webinar. For the council, Gina Quaglietti, Town Clerk, Clerk of the Council.
Okay. So I would ask if there's any volunteer to do the second reading of the home office bylaw amendment.
I will.
Thank you, Connor. I appreciate it.
All right, Article 11 definitions. Section 450-11.2 terms defined. Home occupation, an occupation, trade, or profession, including a not-for-profit organization, which results in a product or service for compensation, which is 1, in a dwelling unit, 2, pursued by a person residing in the dwelling unit, and 3, incidental and secondary to the use of the dwelling unit for residential purposes. Such home occupations may include, but are not limited to the following: office or studio with a building contractor, physician or surgeon, dentist, artist, lawyer, handicraft person, architect, professional engineer, realtor or real estate broker, insurance agent or broker, psychologist or counselor, notary public, teacher of scholastic subjects, and hairdresser, beauty parlor operator, or teacher of piano. Use must conform to the standards and conditions which are shown in Table 3-1, Schedule of Use Regulations, included as an attachment to this chapter. Cottage food operation, a home occupation use that includes the preparation of non-potentially hazardous, that is low risk, food products such as cakes, cookies, breads, and confectionaries in the home kitchen of that person's primary residence for off-premise sale to a consumer, including through the internet or mail order. And in our schedule of use regulations, under land use classification, accessory uses, it would now read home occupation or cottage food operation. Under standards and conditions, and read the home occupation as defined in section 450-11.2 is permitted only when the following standards and conditions are met. A business license from the town of East Long Meadow shall be obtained. B, home occupation shall be conducted in an office or studio in the primary dwelling and is carried on only by the members of the resident family living on the premises. C, the home occupation shall be clearly incidental to and secondary to the use of the dwelling as a residence. D, the area devoted to the conduct of the home occupation shall not exceed 20% of the habitable floor area of the dwelling unit. E, there is no exterior display, signage, or visible storage or other outward evidence that the premises are being used for any purpose other than for a residential use. F, the use shall not constitute a nuisance by reason of an unacceptable level of pollution, noise, vibration, smoke, dust, odor, heat, glare, unsightliness, electrical interference, or other activity which, when produced, is detectable to normal sensory perception beyond the property line and amounts exceeding those normal to a residential property. The use shall not constitute a safety hazard to others. G, no articles are offered for sale on the premises. H, a cottage food operation as defined in section 450-11.2 is allowed as a home occupation subject to all of the conditions listed herein, provided the resident operator is issued and maintains a valid residential kitchen permit from the East Long Meadow Board of Health and complies with the requirements imposed by the Massachusetts Department of Public Health regulations promulgated at 105 C.
Awesome, thank you. At this time, I would like to address Marilyn Richards. She was the chair of our Planning Matters Subcommittee, and I would ask if the Planning Matters Subcommittee has any recommendations.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Am I speaking loud enough? Okay. My apologies for not being with you in person this evening. As the chair of the Planning Matters Subcommittee, we met on Monday, October the 2nd in the conference room over at 382 North Main Street. In attendance at that meeting was Matthew Boucher, Town Council, Diane Bishop, Director of Assessing, Kenneth Hancock, Historical Commission, Sid Starks, former Town Councilor, Bailey Mitchell, Director of Planning and Community Development, Ralph Page, Town Council President and ex officio member, and of course myself. We sat and deliberated over actually all 4 amendments, and we are pleased to report that we voted unanimously to ask the council to adopt these amendments as proposed. It was a 5-0 vote, and it was a really great meeting. So I thought I'd put it all together. If you want me to repeat this with the next public hearing, I'd be happy to do that. Thank you.
Thanks, Marilyn. No, actually, at that meeting, it was excellent. The way this is all laid out and all was superb. Bailey did a fantastic job in it, and I really appreciate all the work that he did. At this time, if the council has any questions, comments, if not, I am going to open it up to the public. And I would ask if the public has any input into it. Okay, seeing none, I will bring it back to us then. I would ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
I move to close the public hearing.
Is there a second?
Second.
Having a motion made and seconded, any other discussion? Roll call vote. Anna,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Kathy.
Yes.
I am a yes. Connor,
Yes.
John.
Yes.
And Marilyn.
Yes.
Okay, the public hearing is closed. Any discussion, any thoughts on it? Again, my thoughts are, he did a great job. I would entertain a motion then at this time.
I move to approve the proposed zoning amendment in relation to home office as presented.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Again, roll call vote. Marilyn, we'll start with you.
Yes.
Yes.
Connor?
Yes.
I am a yes. Kathy?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
And Anna?
Yes.
Great, that one passes. Thank you all. And we will move on. We have a 6:45 public hearing to address a proposed zoning amendment in relation to parking plan review with a second reading. Council members present are Marilyn Richards, John Torsia, Connor O'Shea, Ralph, Kathy Hill, Matt Boucher, Anna Jones. I would ask the clerk to read the legal notice into the record at this time.
The East Long Meadow Town Council will hold a public hearing on November 14, 2023 at 6:45 PM in the media room of the Council on Aging located at 328 North Main Street for the purpose of addressing a proposed amendment of Town of East Long Meadow zoning bylaws, Section 450, Article 3, Use Regulations, and Article 5, Special Use Regulations in relation to the parking plan review process in order to improve administrative efficiency / clarity and improve consistency with Massachusetts general laws. Petitioner, Town of East Long Meadow Planning Board, 60 Center Square, East Long Meadow. Information relating to pending bylaw amendments is available for public inspection at the Town Hall, 60 Center Square. To view an electronic version of the proposed amendments, please visit the town's website. Public hearing may also be attended via Zoom webinar. For the council, Gina Quagletti, Town Clerk of the Council.
Thank you. So this being a second reading, I would ask Kathy if she would like to read it for us.
I will do that. Thank you. Article 3, Use Regulations, Section 450-3.3, Additional Use, Dimensional and Density Regulations. C, Commercial District. Section 2, Lot Coverage. In the case of a single-story building, the building area shall not exceed 40% of the lot area, and a minimum of 24% of the lot area shall be left as landscaped open space. In the case of a two-story building, the building area shall not exceed 30% of the lot area, and a minimum of 16% of the lot area shall be left as landscaped open space. Plot plans must be submitted to the planning department for approval of parking provisions in all cases, and to the Department of Public Works Superintendent in accordance with the general bylaws of the Town of East Long Meadow, Chapter 416, Vehicles and Traffic, Section 416-3, and Chapter 450, Off-Street Parking, Section 450-5.6, where applicable. D, Business District. 2, Lot Coverage. Building area shall not exceed 25% of the lot area. Plot plans must be submitted to the Planning Department for approval of parking provisions in all cases, and to the Department of Public Works Superintendent in accordance with the general bylaw of the Town of East Long Meadow, Chapter 416, Vehicles and Traffic, Section 416-3, and Chapter 450, Off-Street Parking, Section 450-5.6, where applicable. E, Lot Coverage. Plot plans must be submitted to the Planning Department for approval of parking provisions in all cases, and to the Department of Public Works Superintendent in accordance with the general bylaw of the Town of East Long Meadow, Chapter 416, Vehicles and Traffic, Section 416-3, and Chapter 450, Off-Street Parking, Section 450-5.6, where applicable. Building area shall not exceed 60% of the lot area. Section 450 5.6 off-street parking. Parking plan. 1, uses requiring a parking plan. A parking plan shall be submitted at the time of any application for a building permit for the erection, alteration, or enlargement of any building other than a single-family dwelling. No building permit for the erection, alteration, or enlargement of any building may be issued without approval of said parking plan by the planning director. In the case of alteration or enlargement, these standards shall apply only to the altered or enlarged area. 2, a parking plan shall be submitted to the planning department at the time of any application for the certificate of occupancy required in section 450-7.1 of the zoning bylaw. No such certificate of occupancy may be issued without approval of said parking plan by the planning director. 3, parking plans shall show means of vehicular access and interior circulation. The proposed property use and proposed building square footage shall be indicated on the plan. Any required landscaping shall be indicated on the plan. 4, upon submission of a parking plan to the planning director, egress, access, and drainage for the site must be approved by the town engineer. 5, in granting a special permit for any use, the special permit granting authority may require off-street parking spaces, standards, or conditions in addition to those set forth in this bylaw if it deems necessary for the use. 6, the planning board may grant waivers to the parking requirement outlined in this section of the zoning bylaw. A request for waiver, Form W, must be submitted for any and all requirements. B, parking specifications. 1, in all districts, any and all parking spaces located on any lot shall be restricted to the use of the business allowed on the site by its employees, customers, and other persons normally visiting the premises at any one time. There shall be no commuter parking, nor shall any shall any business enter into any type of agreement for commuter and or satellite parking for businesses or activities not located on the site. 2, all new structures and alterations or enlargements on existing structures shall be provided with off-street parking spaces in accordance with the following specifications. A, specifications for parking layout shall be in accordance with Town of East Long Meadow parking standards. The standards shall include and are not limited to the following. Subsection 1, all parking areas must meet the minimum parking dimensions in diagram 5.6-1, except the handicap parking requirements in subsection H shall supersede where appropriate. Subsection 2, each off-street parking space shall contain, exclusive of approved access lanes, not less than 180 square feet when located in a parking lot, and not less than 160 square feet when located in a garage or other building, or planned business developments, retail outlets, and other similar uses. There shall be a minimum of 300 square feet of total paved area for such parking space. I, review procedure. A, the planning director will either I, approve the parking plan based on the determination that the proposed parking plan meets all of the requirements of section 450-5.6. 2, deny the parking plan based on a determination that either 1, insufficient information was submitted with the parking plan in order to adequately review the proposal, or the project does not meet the requirements of section 450-5.6. 3, refer the parking plan to the planning board subject to conditions, modifications, and reasonable restrictions necessary to ensure compliance with the requirements of 450-5.6. My printing is blurred there, Ralph, so let me pick up with yours.
Right here.
3, the 450-5.6, if the proposed parking plan includes an expansion of any parking lot by 10 or more parking spaces or conversion of any use resulting in the addition of 10 or more required parking spaces, the planning board must review the parking plan as submitted as part of the site plan review in conformance with Article 9. And B, the concurring vote of a majority, 3/5 of the membership of the planning board shall be required for a decision on a parking plan. The planning board shall render a decision within 60 days from the date the parking plan was referred to the planning board by the planning director and shall file its written decision with the Department of Public Works and the town clerk. Yeah,
Great. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Nice lengthy reading. Okay, as was stated earlier, the Planning Matter Subcommittee did review this and it was a 5-0 recommendation that it be adopted as submitted. So with that, being a public hearing, at this time, I would open it up to the public and ask if there's any questions with regards to it. Seeing none. Don, is there anyone online with their hand up? Okay. So at this time, I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I move to close the public hearing.
Second,
Motion made and seconded. Roll call vote. Anna,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Kathy?
yes.
I'm a yes. Connor?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
And Marilyn?
Yes.
Thank you. And then I would entertain a motion for approval.
I make a motion to approve the proposed zoning amendment in relation to parking plan review as presented.
Second.
Having a motion made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote. Anna,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Connor?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
And Marilyn?
Yes.
Okay,
Next.
that's after 7, so we can go right into our next. So this is a public hearing to address a proposed zoning amendment relative to site plan review. Site plan review and a second reading of the amendment. Council members present are Anna Jones, Matt Boucher, Kathy Hill, Ralph Page, Connor O'Shea, John Torsia, and Marilyn Richards on Zoom. I would ask that the clerk please read the legal notice into the record.
The East Long Meadow Town Council will hold a public hearing on November 14, 2023 at 7 p.m. in the media room of the Council on Aging located at 328 North Main Street for the purpose of addressing a proposed amendment of Town of East Long Meadow zoning bylaws, Section 450, Article 3, Use Regulations, Table 3-1, Schedule of Use Regulations, and Article 9, Site Plan Review, in relation to the site plan review process in order to improve administrative efficiency / clarity and improve consistency with Massachusetts general laws. Petitioner, Town of East Long Meadow Planning Board, 60 Center Square, East Long Meadow. Information relating to pending bylaw amendments is available for public inspection at the Town Hall, 60 Center Square. To view an electronic version of the proposed amendments, please visit the town's website. Public hearing may also be attended via Zoom webinar. For the council, Jean R. Quaglietti, Town Clerk of the Council.
Thank you very much. Being a second read-in, Mr. Torsia, would you care to jump in and read this in? Thank you for your volunteering.
Article 3, use regulations, 450-3, applicability of use regulations. A, these regulations, restrictions and controls to regulate development in each district are set forth in Table 3-1, East Long Meadow Schedule of Use Regulations. Notations apply to the Schedule of Use Regulations. Why? Yes, designates is allowed by right in the district indicated. Site plan review is required for all uses as prescribed in Article 11 of this zoning bylaw. Note, subdivisions are covered by the Town of East Long Meadow subdivision rules and regulations. No designation and no designated uses prohibited in the district indicated. SP, special permit. Designate uses only allowed in the district with a special permit and site plan review as are outlined in Article 8 special permits. 459.1 purpose. Purpose of site plan review is to accomplish the purposes set forth in section 1 zoning bylaw. Considering a site plan, the planning board shall ensure that all structures and uses other than a single family dwelling, which considers community needs, protection of abutting properties and visual amenities, convenience and safety of vehicular and pedestrian movement within the site and in relation to adjacent areas. Adequacy of methods of disposal for waste and surface water drainage and protection of environmental features on the site and in adjacent areas. 459.2 design review. B, design review committee. Subsection 1, the design review committee shall be appointed by the planning board to serve for a period of three years with member rotation every 3 years after the initial 2-year period and consists of 5 members with the following credentials if possible. Planning director should serve as committee chair. 1 person qualified by training experience in architecture or landscape design. C, 1 person owning and or operating a business located in East Long Meadow governed by this bylaw. D, 1 at-large resident of the town, and E, 1 member of the board of directors of the East Long Meadow Chamber of Commerce. D, initiating design review. The planning director shall meet with the owner and or representative of the project to discuss the project design review process and the items needed for design review. Prior to the submittal of an application, depending on the complexity of the proposed project, may be necessary to see the following. A, color photographs showing buildings and site conditions adjacent to the proposed project. B, building elevations at 1/8 foot scale showing configuration, details, and adjacent site building conditions. All elevations are to be titled and dated, and 8 copies are to be provided. C, sample of finished materials. D, study model of the proposed project. 3-dimensional for major projects only as requested by the design review committee. And E, sightline study indicating concealment of rooftop mechanical equipment from the street if applicable. Finally, F, site plan and architectural drawing specifying 1, the building footprint and dimensions, including all points of access and egress. 2, plans of interior spaces where applicable in order to determine dual formulas for parking requirements when affected by use. 3, architectural renderings specifying exterior elevations showing finished materials, windows, doors, light fixtures, stairways, balconies, decks, and architectural details. The elevations shall be provided for all affected exterior surfaces. 4, exterior lighting on the proposed building, including the location, size. 5, method of illumination of all exterior signs. 6, location of areas to be landscaped. 7, location of garbage disposal area and utility appurtenances if visible. 450-9.3 projects requiring site plan review. A, projects requiring site plan review. 1, any change in the use of the subject building or unit from its most recent use determined to cause an increase to the number of required parking spaces by 10 or more parking spaces in accordance with 450-5.6. 2, the construction or exterior expansion of a structure or building with the exception of single-family residential dwellings. 3, the expansion of any parking lot by 10 or more spaces. 4, the construction or exterior expansion of any educational institution or religious institution. 5, any other use specified in table 3-1 schedule of use regulations, which indicates that site plan review is required unless the use is locating in an existing structure and no additions to the structure are to be undertaken. The planning director determines no additional parking will be required to conform to the parking requirements outlined in Article 5 of the zoning bylaw 450-5.6. 6, where a use is allowed with only site plan review and no special permit is required, the use shall be approved if satisfies criteria in this Article 11. 7, any use that requires a special permit as specified in the use regulation schedules, in which case a single review and approval process shall be conducted as provided in 450-8.2a. B, no special permit or building permit shall be applied for or issued for any of the above uses unless a site plan has been endorsed by the planning board after consultation with other boards, including but not limited to the following: Building Commissioner, Board of Health, Town Engineer, Conservation Commission, DPW Superintendent, Fire Department, and Police Department. C, site plan review for any exempt zoning under MGL Chapter 40A is for the purpose of ensuring compliance with reasonable regulations as related to parking, open spaces, building height, and building setback requirements as provided for in MGL Chapter 40A. D, waiver permitted. The planning board may grant a full waiver for all requirements of site plan review / approval for the following: 1, new construction under 1,000 square feet, and 2, exterior expansions provided that the expansion is less than 25% the existing floor area of the structure, where the structure is part of a complex consisting of multiple buildings functioning as a single facility. The sum of the total square footage of all structures comprising the complex may be used to determine the threshold for such a waiver. E, finding required. Prior to the granting any waiver of site plan review or approval, the planning board must make a finding that the board determines the proposed development with the requested waivers will have a diminished impact relative to the criteria set forth in 450-7 and 450-9.8. Kind of 450-9.4, content of site plan. B, the planning board shall have the right to waive any of the above items under unique site conditions or request any additional data it should need to render it. A request for waiver, Form W, must be submitted for each requested requirement waiver unless an applicant is requesting the full site plan review be waived. The site plan review form site must be submitted indicating such request. Majority vote of the planning board would be required to waive any of the site plan requirements. Moving on to 450-9.5 review procedure. Each application for site plan review shall be submitted to the Planning and Community Development Department on form site, accompanied by 2 hard copies of the site plan and complete application in 1 electronic PDF version of the same. Copy of the complete application form site shall be concurrently filed with the town clerk by the applicant. B, planning director shall, upon receipt of complete application and no later than 2 business days of the established submittal deadline, transmit electronic copy of the complete application material and site plan to the building commissioner, director of public health, conservation commission, public works superintendent, town engineer, water and sewer administrator, fire department, and police department. And these departments shall have 14 calendar days to provide comment to the planning board prior to the meeting. C, all applications for site plan review must include payment of the application fee specified in section 500-10, schedule of town fees. Cost of advertising the public hearing is to be paid by the applicant. D, the planning board may hire at the expense of the applicant independent consultants to review the plans and application materials submitted, or require new application materials completed by independent consultants be submitted if it determines expert review is appropriate for the interest of the neighborhood and or community. In such event, the planning director shall: 1, select an expert independent consultant to perform the review and determine a scope of services agreeable to the planning board and the applicant. 2, require the applicant pay the estimated cost of said expert to the town collector / treasurer prior to any review being taken. No site plan shall be approved until the total cost of said review has been paid by the applicant. Any excess of deposit shall be returned to the applicant upon completion of the review. E, expiration. 1, a site plan approval granted under this section shall lapse after a period of 1 year has passed if substantial use has not sooner commenced, except for good cause, or in the case of permit for construction has not begun by such date, except for good cause. This period shall not include such time required to pursue or await the determination of appeal referred to in MGL Chapter 40A, Section 17. And now moving on to types of districts. So we have AA, residence A, residence AB, residence B, C, residence C, ER, elderly residential, COM, commercial, BUS, business, I, industrial, IGP, industrial garden park, GR, golf recreational, PUR, planned unit residential, PAR, planned adult residential, MUV, mixed use residential. Permitted uses. Y, use allowed by right, site plan review required for all uses as prescribed in Article 11. N, use prohibited. SP, use allowed by special permit from the planning board.
Thank you. Okay. So once again, the Planning Matters Subcommittee reviewed it. And they voted 5-0 to recommend its adoption. With that being said, being a public hearing, I will once again open it to the public. Would anyone from the public like to put any input into this? Seeing none, I will bring it back to the board. I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I move to close the public hearing.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded and roll call vote. Anna,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Kathy.
Yes.
I'm a yes. Connor,
Yes.
John.
Yes.
And Marilyn.
Yes.
Okay, the public hearing is closed. Would someone, no comments, like to make a motion?
I move to approve the proposed zoning amendment in relation to the site plan review as presented.
I will second that.
Great, motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, it's a roll call vote. Marilyn, I'll start with you.
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Connor,
Yes.
I am a yes. Kathy.
Yes.
Matt
Yes.
and Anna.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Our next, we're past the 7:15. We're doing good here. This is a public hearing to address a proposed zoning amendment relative to recreation facilities and a second reading of the amendment. Councilor members present are Anna Jones, Matt Boucher, Kathy Hill, Ralph Page, Connor O'Shea, John Torsha, and Marilyn Richards. I would ask the clerk to read the legal notice into the record.
The East Long Meadow Town Council will hold a public hearing on November 14, 2023 at 7:15 PM in the room of the Council on Aging located at 328 North Main Street for the purpose of addressing a proposed amendment to the Town of East Long Meadow zoning bylaws, section 450-11.2. Terms defined in table 3-1, schedule of use regulations to amend recreational facilities and include fitness facilities. Petitioner, Town of East Long Meadow Planning Board, 60 Center Square, East Long Meadow. Information relating to pending bylaw amendments is available for public inspection at the Town Hall, 60 Center Square. To view an electronic version of the proposed amendments, please visit the town's website. The public hearing may also be attended via Zoom webinar with the below link. For the council, Jean R. Quaglietti, Town Clerk of the Council.
Thank you. This being a second reading, I'd like to volunteer.
I will.
Connor has volunteered and saved the two of you.
Sweat, looking at that table.
Thank you, Connor.
All right, Article 11, definitions. Section 450-11.2, terms defined. Area and or facility for sporting activity. An area that is designed to offer athletic type events to be viewed by a significant number of spectators, with such spectators either seated or standing, and not limited to a professional martial sports stadium and or arena, a professional or commercial ice hockey rink and or ballpark, or a hippodrome. Town sports are addressed under school, park, and recreation regulations and do not apply to this section. Recreation, an activity that people engage in during their free time, that people enjoy, and that people recognize as having socially redeeming values. Recreation facility, a place designed and equipped for the conduct of sports, leisure time activities, and or other customary and usual recreational activities. Recreation facility, private. Recreation facility operated by a nonprofit organization and open only to bona fide members and guests of such nonprofit organization. recreation facility, commercial, a recreation facility operated as a business and open to the public for a fee. And in our schedule of use regulations, we have. That's the only thing that changed is number 9.
Yep.
Land use classification is recreation facility, commercial and private. Standards and conditions, see Article 8. And then going from left to right under AA, it's no, A, no, B, no, C, no. ER, no. Commercial, yes. Business, yes. Industrial, special permit. Industrial garden park, special permit. Golf recreation, special permit. Residential, no. Planned adult residential, no. And mixed use village, special permit.
Awesome. Thank you very much. In planning matter subcommittee met and on a 5-0 vote recommended accepting this bylaw as proposed. So with that being said, does the council have any questions? Okay, hearing none, I would open up to the public. Does the public have anything? Don, is there anyone on Zoom with their hand up? We're running ahead of schedule here by about 8 minutes, so. Okay, seeing none, I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Move to close the public hearing.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. I guess a roll call vote. Anna?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
I am a yes. Connor?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
And Marilyn?
Yes.
Okay. So the public hearing is closed. With no discussion, I would entertain a motion at this time then.
I make a motion to approve the proposed zoning amendment in relation to recreation facilities as presented.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Again, a roll call vote. Marilyn?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Connor?
Yes.
I am a yes. Kathy?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
And Anna?
Yes.
Okay, that passes. We have 6 minutes left. So
Licenses.
would someone like to make a motion to go out of order to licensing matters?
So moved.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded to go out of order. Again, roll call vote. Anna?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
I am a yes. Connor?
Yes.
John? And Marilyn?
Yes.
Okay, so we are moving on to licensing matters. We have a 1-day liquor license for Scott Johnson for a 50th wedding anniversary. Is there a motion? John,
Excuse me, somebody.
licensing matters.
I make a motion to approve a 1-day liquor license for Scott Johnson for a 50th wedding anniversary party at Norcross Center, 89 Maple Street on November 18th from 2023 from 3 to 9 p.m.
Second that.
Great, any discussion? Sounds like a great time. So if everyone's available, stop at the Norcross House. Okay, roll call vote. Anna?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
I am a yes. Connor?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
And Marilyn?
Yes.
Okay. Still plenty of time. Let's go on to number 2. It's approve a 1-day liquor license for St. Paul the Apostles Church. Is there a motion?
I move to approve a 1-day liquor license for St. Paul the Apostles Church, 235 Dwight Road, for a Vietnamese New Year celebration fundraising event on November 26, 2023, from 5 to 11 p.m.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. That's a roll call vote. Marilyn?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Connor?
Yes.
I am a yes. Kathy?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
And Anna?
Yes.
Okay.
4 minutes. Could you go down to approval of minutes?
Why don't we
move that we move out of order to orders of the day, approval of minutes until such time that it's.
That's not gonna be enough.
It won't be enough, but is there a second on that?
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded to go out of order and out of order. Roll call vote. Anna,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
I'm a yes. Connor,
Yes.
John, and Marilyn.
Yes.
Okay, this is for the approval of minutes for October 10th, open session. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve the October 10, 2023 open session minutes.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Great job on the minutes. So roll call vote. Anna,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Kathy.
Yes.
I am a yes. Connor,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
skipped right over you. And Marilyn,
Yes.
thank you. Minutes have been approved.
Can't really do anything else.
And at this time, the chair declares a 5-minute recess. Okay, it is 7:30. We have a public hearing to approve $32,250 from the Community Preservation Act Historical Fund account for the Maps and Plans Project 2. Council members present are Anna Jones, Matt Boucher, Kathy Hill, Ralph Page, Connor O'Shea, John Torsa, and Marilyn Richards. I would ask the clerk to read the legal notice into the record at this time.
The East Long Meadow Town Council will hold a public hearing on November 14, 2023 at 7:30 PM in the media room of the Council on Aging located at 328 North Main Street to address the Community Preservation Act application for the Maps and Plans Preservation 2 project. Information relating to this application is available for review by the public in the town clerk's office, and on the town's website. The public hearing may also be attended via Zoom webinar. For the council, Jean R. Quaglietti, Town Clerk of the Council.
Thank you very much. At this time, Tony, I would ask that you come forwards. As chairman of the Community Preservation Committee. You would state your name for the record.
Tony Zampicini, Chair of the Community Preservation Committee.
So this project came in front of you. You want to go through it real quick?
Unanimous vote. We fully endorse it. I think it's great what Jane's doing. It's phase 2 of the preservation of maps, plans, et cetera. And we, like I said, fully endorsed.
So my first comment, the first section went incredible. I don't believe anyone's been downstairs at the town hall. It is so organized now. And I believe there's a full database, isn't there?
It's searchable.
Searchable database. So we can actually find stuff now. And this is to continue on because there was extra rolled plans and all of that.
Right, so we started with the records preservation that put all the records that are in file folders in order. The next step was do the maps and plans preservation. And we got a quote for that. And when King Information started, they're the vendor that's been working on this. There were more maps and plans brought down to them that was not included with the quote. So we gladly accepted them. So they did the rolled plans first, then they moved on to the drawers that have the maps and plans, the flat ones stored. And then they got through 6 of those drawers. There's at least 100 or 150 plans in each of those drawers. And there's 60 plus more to go. So they just ran out of time mostly because Ralph was actually down in the basement with me. He met the workers down there and they couldn't move on because they had to go on to the next place. They're the sole provider. They're the only ones in the state that does that kind of work. So this is to finish it up. And we actually had 5,000 left, I think. They weren't able to finish. So this is just to finish the maps and plans, the flat ones.
In phase 1, there was some extra money that was turned back. And this hopefully will cover the phase 2, which will take care of it. And then the only thing after that would be to digitize.
Yeah, that would be my next move.
Okay.
Probably pull the department heads to see who's interested in having that done and then try to figure out where we start. I think the plans would be the best thing to do first. So
But that's jumping the.
it's a great system, like you said, as long as people put them back where they found them. We do have some boxes down there people looked through and didn't put them back, so.
Well, also looked, if I remember right, that there was an area to set them,
Mhm.
pulled them out.
Yep.
Then from there, they would be actually
Right.
reinstalled. So
Mhm.
absolutely. Compared to when I was on the planning department and there was boxes in the attic,
You have to
boxes
pour through them.
downstairs. When you asked for a plan, they said, well, I think it's over towards the left in one of those boxes somewhere.
And every plan has a unique number on it. It's got a cubby number, it's got a row number, a cubby number, and a little label on each plan. Be organized.
Excellent, excellent project. Does the council have any?
I was sort of just wondering, Tony, do you know what the balance now is for historical? I know I saw it a few months ago, but I'm just curious if it's changed
$250,000, I think.
or on a good footing.
Oh, yeah. Well, historical is one of those that there's very few areas that we really used it. So it typically just continues to build up. This is a public hearing. So at this time, I would open it to members of the public. Does anyone have any questions, concerns, comments? Okay, seeing none, I will bring it back to the board. I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Move to close the public hearing.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on it? A roll call vote to close the public hearing. I will start with Marilyn.
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Connor?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Kathy?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
And Anna?
Yes.
Okay. Hearing has been closed.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve?
I move to approve $32,250 from the Community Preservation Act Historic Account for the Maps and Plans Preservation Project 2.
Second.
Having a motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, this is a roll call vote. Anna?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
I am a yes. Connor?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
And Marilyn?
Yes.
That motion passes.
Thank you. I guess I was premature before.
Page 2 of the agenda. Oh, financial matters. This is to approve the appropriation for the purpose of paying costs, designing, constructing, and equipping a new high school at the East Long Meadow High School at 180 Maple Street. So, Town of East Long Meadow, Massachusetts, a motion for the town council for the East Long Meadow High School ELHS school building project. Ordered that $177,460,652 is appropriated to pay costs of designing, constructing, and equipping a new high school to be located at 180 Maple Street, East Long Meadow, including the payment of all costs incidental or related thereto, the project, which school facility shall have an anticipated useful life as an educational facility for the instruction of school children for at least 50 years, and for which the town may be eligible for a grant from the Massachusetts School Building Authority, MSBA, said amount to be expended under the direction of the East Long Meadow High School Building Committee. To meet this appropriation, the town treasurer, with the approval of the town manager, is authorized to borrow said amount under Mass General Law, Chapter 44, or pursuant to any other enabling authority, and to issue bonds or notes of the town therefore. The town acknowledges that the MSBA's grant program is a non-entitlement discretionary program based on need as determined by the MSBA, and any project costs the town incurs in excess of any grant approved by and received from the MSBA shall be the sole responsibility of the town. Provided further that any grant that the town may receive from the MSBA for the project shall not exceed the lesser of 61.95% of eligible approved project costs as determined by the MSBA, or 2, the total maximum grant amount determined by the MSBA, provided that any appropriation hereunder shall be subject to and contingent upon an affirmative vote of the town to exempt the amounts required for the payment of interest and principal on said borrowing from the limitations on taxes imposed by Mass General Law, Chapter 59, Section 21C, which is known as Proposition 2.5, and the amount of borrowing authorized pursuant to this vote shall be reduced by any grant amount set forth in the project funding agreement that may be executed between the town of East Long Meadow and the MSBA. Is there a second?
Second.
That is a motion that's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion on it?
Pretty clear cut.
Pretty clear cut. And I know the language is accurate as long as I read it correctly. Gordon, I read it good? Okay, thank you. Having a motion made, seconded, further discussion over, it's a roll call vote. Anna?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
I am a yes. Connor?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Marilyn?
Yes.
Perfect. That is done. Okay, next up. Under financial matters, Town of East Long Meadow, Massachusetts, Town Council motion for appropriating funding for the natatorium project. Ordered that $16,795,536 is appropriated to pay costs of designing, constructing, and equipping a new natatorium to be located at East Long Meadow High School, 180 Maple Street, East Long Meadow, including the payment of all costs incidental or related thereto. The said amount to be expended under the direction of the East Long Meadow High School Pool Building Committee. To meet this appropriation, the town treasurer, with the approval of the town manager, is authorized to borrow said amount under Mass General Law, Chapter 44, or pursuant to any other enabling authority, and to issue bonds or notes of the town therefore. Any appropriation hereunder shall be subject to and contingent upon an affirmative vote of the town to exempt the amounts required for the payment of interest and principal on said borrowing for the natatorium project and for the separate East Long Meadow High School project from the limitations on taxes imposed by Mass General Law, Chapter 59, Section 21C, Proposition 2.5. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, this is a roll call vote. I'll start with Marilyn.
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Connor?
Yes.
I am a yes. Kathy?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Anna?
Yes.
Perfect. That was good, right?
Incoming.
Okay. It's 1B2. B3 is free cash certification.
Don't ask me.
So there's no vote or anything on that then, correct?
Correct.
So this is just an announcement on free cash. Tom, you want to tell us what we have for free cash? Or would you like me to?
Go ahead.
Okay, so this is an email from our finance director. Notification of free cash approval for the town of East Long Meadow based upon the unaudited balance sheet submitted. I hereby certify that the amount of available funds or free cash as of July 1st, 2023 for the town of East Long Meadow is general fund, $7,607,942. Enterprise fund, water services enterprise fund, $1,202,467. Enterprise fund, the sewer services enterprise fund has $471,640. Enterprise fund for LCAT is $610,989. Enterprise fund, stormwater enterprise fund is $220,624. This certification is in accordance with the provisions of General Law, Chapter 59, subsection 23 as amended. So it is official. We now have money to spend. So if I understand correctly, which, so typically from July 1st until we certify free cash, we are unable to spend free cash. Now that it's certified, if projects come up or a bill or whatever, we're able to actually fund it.
Or page 2 of the agenda.
Yes.
That's the
Which is
next
coming next. Okay, so we have financial matters B4, the approval of $535.52 for firefighting boots. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve $535.52 to be paid from 0122045580, $529, and 0122025342, $6.52 for a prior year bill for firefighting boots.
Second.
So as we all know, this is just a prior year's bill that got through, that we now have money to pay for it. So having a motion made and seconded, this is a roll call vote. Anna?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Connor?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
And Marilyn?
Yes.
Okay, financial matters, B5. Approve the appropriation of $120,082.13 from free cash to be expended in accordance with Massachusetts State Subdivision for statewide opiate.
I'll second that.
Nope, I was just reading. You got Anna, would you like to make a motion?
I move,
It's already been seconded. He's ready to go home.
I move to approve the appropriation of $120,082.13 from free cash to be expended in accordance with Massachusetts State Subdivision for statewide opiate settlement funds.
I'll second my second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Further discussion. So, Tom, if I understand correctly, we've already received this money. It's been in free cash, but we couldn't expend it yet.
Right.
Okay.
It needs to be appropriated. Expend it.
In order to spend it, exactly. But this is a roll call vote. Marilyn, I'll start with you.
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Connor?
Yes.
I am a yes. Kathy?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Anna?
Yes.
Okay. We can now spend that money. This is a transfer of $29,500 from free cash to highway. Is there a motion? This is B6.
I make a motion to approve the transfer of $29,500 from free cash to highway professional / technical / other account number 014212-5307 for rail trail paving.
Second.
Having a motion made and seconded. I'd just like to give a little background on this. So we had a couple complaints come in with regards to the rail trail. I guess there was some roots and stuff that had actually heaved it up and people were tripping. And between the town manager and myself and the DPW, so this wasn't something that could wait because we could open ourselves up to a lawsuit. So with that, the DPW went ahead, received bids for it, and had the rail trail repaired. It was a little bit more extensive than what was originally thought. and this was the bill for it.
So all the routes were cut out or cut back or whatever had to be.
Yeah, so they actually saw cut the rail trail, removed it, removed the area, and then re-asphalted.
Good.
So I haven't been down it. I don't know if anyone has, but I immediately received an email that said, "You guys are amazing. Thank you for taking care of it." So, and that goes for all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just wondering like how big of a section was that? You know?
It was large.
29,500.
I have, not recently, but I have seen the area that was affected, and it was, like 20 feet and then go another 10 feet or so and it would happen again. So
Yeah, it
It
was
were
multiple
probably
areas along it that
a
had
couple hundred
issues.
feet worth for them to, cut it up and do it properly.
Yeah, I wanted to say, if I remember Bruce telling me it was like 200 linear feet, but at 5 foot wide, which is what the walk was. So, but it's nice that it's taken care of and that we don't have to think about it. So with that being said, is there any other discussion on it?
Nope.
Hearing none. Roll call vote. Anna?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
I am a yes. Connor?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
And Marilyn?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bruce and Daryl.
Yes, thank them very much, like I said, because they immediately got onto that. So we are on B7, approve the release of $39,064 for the bridge repair project. Is there a motion?
I move to approve the release of $39,064 from 2303 Bridge Repair Project back to stormwater retained earnings.
Second.
This is money that we appropriated that wasn't needed, correct? Perfect. I like that. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. Marilyn?
Yes.
Don?
I'm a yes.
Connor?
Yes.
I am a yes. Kathy?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
And Anna?
Yes.
Okay, B7's done. B8, approve the following donations to the town per Mass General Law for the library. Is there a motion for financial matters B8?
I make a motion to approve the following donations to the town per Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53A. Donations to the library totaling $1,629.32, and donations to the Council on Aging totaling $763 as presented.
Second.
It's always nice to see donations coming in. I believe our finance director has suggested that the council should approve any donations that are made. And so this should be regular.
This item should be a regular, correct?
Yep. So with that being said, this is a roll call vote. Anna?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
I am a yes. Connor?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
And Marilyn?
Yes.
Thank you. Let's just skip over these. This is the authorization to authorize the town manager to sign memorandums of agreement. And it is financial matters B9. Is there a motion?
I move to authorize the town manager to sign memorandums of agreement for UPSEU clerical, UPSEU professional, East Long Meadow Permanent Firefighters Local 2426, and Local 169 of the Utility Workers Union.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Further discussion. Is that all of our union contracts?
Lisa's left.
Lisa's left.
They're up in June.
Oh, so right now we are
Everybody's
good.
Well, yeah.
Well, as soon as we vote, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other discussion? None. This is a roll call vote. Anna,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Kathy.
Yes.
I'm a yes. Connor,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
and Marilyn.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 10. Appropriate from free cash, a lot of money. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to appropriate from free cash $117,000, $117,584 to pay retroactively salaries of the fire department and fund the salary budget for the remainder of fiscal year 24 to be distributed to the accounts as presented.
Second,
Motion made and seconded. Further discussion? So this was a retroactive contract negotiations because it's been a full year plus that their contract had run out. That being said, any other discussion? Hearing none.
I was just gonna say just some off the cuff math for anyone interested in the numbers. So from our free cash certification originally, which was like 7.6 million, after all of these motions today, we're now at $7,340,775.87.
Give or take a penny. Okay, a roll call vote. We're going to start with Marilyn.
yes.
John?
Yes.
Connor?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Kathy?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
And Anna?
Yes.
Okay, our next up is B11, which is basically a continuation for the free cash from the ambulance receipts reserved for appropriation. Is there a motion?
I move to appropriate from the ambulance receipts reserved for appropriation 110. I can't read today. I don't know why. Sorry. $110,678 to pay retroactively salaries of the ambulance fund and fund the salary budget for the remainder of FY24 to be distributed to the accounts as presented.
I will second.
A motion made and seconded. Any discussion on it? This is a roll call vote. Anna?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Connor?
Yes.
John?
I mean, yes.
And Marilyn?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, minutes are done. There is no old business. Jumping to new business. Jump through this real quick. Settlement. Okay, under new business, we have creating a municipal technology communication department. Would combine IT, LCAT, and the municipal light plant. This would be a first reading. And Tom, would you like to just give us a quick overview of what you're looking?
Sure.
Granted, we're going to read it all, but
No. Yeah,
it's easier just to get a quick overview.
Yeah, so this is that Article 5 in the charter reorganization plan / bylaw updates. The gist of this is basically sort of the first sentence of the duties and responsibilities of the new Department of Municipal Technology and Communication, which is to be responsible for the storage, transport, security, and dissemination of all information of the town. So this is creating sort of, we're calling it the same thing, but a CIO, which is sort of industry standard for the person that's really in charge of all your information. So it's kind of bringing us sort of further into the 21st century, sort of updating our security of our information and how that information is sort of expressed to the public, which is sort of one of my goals long-term, is to try to figure out how we let everybody know what's going on and do it the right way. So everybody has sort of a single source information from the town of East Long Meadow. Secondarily, obviously, to create the light plant, which seems like this fits right in sort of with IT and LCAT under that umbrella of a CIO, which in the industry, all this stuff would sort of be created under there. And I sort of modeled this after how we did the municipal finance bylaw, which was to have we don't call it a CFO, but a municipal finance director in charge of accounting, assessing, and treasurer collector. So you have sort of a top executive at the top of all your information like you do for all your financials. Sort of my thoughts.
Anyone have any questions? Kathy?
I know that City of Springfield has a chief information officer, and I'm sure cities do, but I hear what you're saying about it's an industry standard, if you will, if you're moving rather. Do towns of our size have this already? Do you know if a Long Meadow or Wilbraham or South Hadley have any of this?
And I don't know if it's called that or if the function is that. And obviously, I'm not necessarily married to the title. I'm sort of married of this idea that one person should sort of be in charge of all the information so that we don't have information coming out of different departments that isn't the same.
Right. So let's play it forward in a positive way. This is going to get referred to the bylaw subcommittee for their study. It'll eventually come back here. Assuming that were it to be approved, does that mean we need to then hire another individual? Are we adding an employee or are we shifting around employees and changing their titles?
At this point, I do not anticipate any adding of staff.
Okay.
So we can kind of do this with what we have in house. Again, the light plant is sort of in its infancy and probably won't be cranking for a couple years. So we're doing all this now. It's just not organized.
Right. You need to.
Right. We have cybersecurity and we have an IT director and so we're doing all this stuff. It's organized a little bit better. And like I said, that is all, I'm sure, conversations that I'll have with the bylaw subcommittee, I'm sure. But I'll definitely do some more research around what.
I was just so curious.
Yeah, no, about what other people were, and I don't know if those people have created a light plant recently but I guess I saw an opportunity with the creation of the light plant to kind of get all this stuff in one umbrella, like the financial thing, which is basically the gist of it.
So just to be clear, I mean, with the votes that we took and the passing of the ballot question, we have created an MLP, whether we use it or not.
Right.
It's up to us.
And that's general law says we have an MLP.
And one of the things was to look at the cost of the high-speed fiber optics. And like I said, I know you've been doing that, and I've looked at other towns, and it seems like most of them try and keep their MLP completely separate and don't bring it internally. They'll have a board of directors and all for that. I mean, Westfield's done it that way. I know Holyoke's got it that way and all. And I think that would be something that we really need to consider and think about. Again, my thought was this being a first reading, it gives us time to actually study and take a look at it, and without actually having a breakdown on what each person was going to be doing or whatever. It's hard to.
Yeah, that's understandable. Like I said, so I know for sure that like the Westfields and the Holyokes of the world, they have a board because they're a multi-million-dollar corporation, right? They're selling electricity, right? So it's
Ultimately, though, at $21 million, it's a multi-million-dollar.
No, I see what you're saying. But the way that most of those light boards are set up they're elected officials. It's that sort of important to the town. That's the fiber MGL getting attached onto the light board MGL because they didn't want to rewrite the law, and it's basically the same thing, right? All good points, and I'm happy to research everything and continue the conversation for sure. If that's your pleasure to move it to bylaw.
I was more inclined to wait till bylaw to kind of give more thoughts and questions.
Connor?
Nothing at this time, other than we still have to read it.
Yeah, no, I understand that. Like I said, I just, like I said, sometimes it's easier to pick his brain. And again, the reason you read it is if you're thinking, hey, yes, we're definitely going to be pushing it forwards to look at it more in depth. And I would say my feeling is, yeah, let's do a first reading. Let's send it to bylaw committee. And at that time, then before the second reading, we can come up with even more questions.
I'll be ready.
Yes, Marilyn. Yes, Marilyn.
Thank you. Ralph, you threw out a $21 million cost. Is that the estimated cost now for what the build out of the infrastructure would be?
Not necessarily. I think that's more in the ballpark of what it's going to cost. I think initially the numbers that they were throwing out were not even close.
Right.
And then with I don't want to blame everything on COVID, but with the difficulty of getting the fiber and everything, all of a sudden the prices have gone through the roof. It looks like the price of installation, underground work and all has gone up exponentially. So I think to do the whole town, I think that's probably closer. But again, I don't think anything's written exactly, and I don't think we have an exact bid yet on it.
We're meeting next week.
Oh, and they're meeting next week to actually discuss it further. But obviously, before any of that would be done, it would have to come in front of us because we got to set something up for it. So
I was just sort of struggling with it because when we first started, it was 11 million, then it went up to 17 million, and now we're up at 21 million. Are we dealing with just one entity, or are we getting prices from other folks?
We're watching the entire market. The prices are sort of the prices. Short answer, the prices are the prices.
So you're only talking to one entity right now.
We're only negotiating with one.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep.
you want to get out of here?
What? Now, hold on.
Okay.
I think it makes
Would
sense. if
someone
we
like
read it.
to volunteer to do a first reading?
Sure.
Connor,
Matt? No,
no.
Connor says he'll do it. Sit back. You got the next one.
All right, I got the next one.
All right.
All charts.
Chapter 101, Municipal Technology and Communication Department. Article 1, Department of Municipal Technology and Communication. Section 101-1, Department Head. The town manager shall appoint a Chief Information Officer, CIO. The CIO shall supervise and coordinate matters of the town under their control by charter, bylaw, town manager, rules and regulations, or by other town vote. Section 101-2, Composition. The Department of Municipal Technology and Communication shall consist of the Chief Information Officer and any additional employees as required for its efficient operation. Section 101-3, Duties and Responsibilities. The Department of Municipal Technology and Communication shall be responsible for the storage, transport, security, and dissemination of all information of the town. The Department of Municipal Technology and Communication shall be responsible for the coordination of duties and responsibilities that are performed under the authority of the Department of Information Technology, East Long Meadow Cable Access Television, and the Municipal Light Plant. -4, Annual Report. The Chief Information Officer shall annually prepare and submit to the town manager a report that shall contain all matters pertaining to their department as required by the town manager. Article 2, Information Technology Department, moved from Chapter 83. 101-5, Department Head. The town manager shall appoint a Director of Information Technology. The Director of Information Technology shall be responsible for supervising and coordinating supervision and coordination matters in the town that are placed under the director's control by charter, bylaw, the town manager, rules and regulations, or by other town vote. 101-6, Composition. The Department of Information Technology shall consist of the Director of Information Technology and include additional employees as required for the efficient operation of the 101-7 duties and responsibilities. The duties of the Department of Information Technology shall be to support the town's operating units in the use of information technology, IT, to manage town and departmental information systems, and to recommend appropriate IT plans, standards, and training so users may make full and effective use of information technology resources. The tasks involve working with senior managers and department heads to define the town's services and operational objectives, the appropriate cost-effective information management strategies to achieve those objectives, adopting cohesive IT plans and standards, and the acquisitions, implementation, and maintenance of information systems and related components. The Information Technology Director is responsible for maintaining and improving the efficiency and effectiveness of all areas under the Information Technology Director's direction and control. The Information Technology Department shall also be responsible for all technology and information systems in all departments, including the school department. 101-8 Annual Report. The Director of Information Technology shall annually prepare and submit to the town manager a report that shall contain all matters pertaining to their department as required by the town manager. Article 3, East Long Meadow Cable Access Television, moved from Chapter 65. 101-9 Department Head. The town manager shall appoint a director of East Long Meadow Cable Access Television, LCAT department. The director of LCAT shall be responsible for the supervision and coordination of matters of the town that are placed under their control by charter, bylaw, town manager, rules and regulations, or by other town code. 101-10 Composition. The department of LCAT shall consist of the director of LCAT and include additional employees as prescribed in the position of the department. 101-11 Duties and Responsibilities. The duties of the Department of LCAT shall be to record public meetings of East Long Meadow town government bodies as outlined in the general bylaws, provide public access to the town's designated cable channels for community-produced programming, provide facilities, equipment, and training and video production for town residents seeking to share content over the public access channels, and to provide instruction and training in video production for school students. 101-12 Annual Report. The Director of LCAT shall annually prepare and submit to the town manager a report that shall contain all matters pertaining to their department as required by the town manager. Article 4 Municipal Light Plan. 101-13 Department Head. The town manager shall appoint a manager of municipal lighting as per MGL Chapter 164, Section 56. The manager of municipal lighting shall be responsible for the supervision and coordination of matters placed under their control by Massachusetts general law, charter, bylaw, town manager, rules and regulations, or by other town code. 101-14 Composition. The municipal light plant shall consist of the manager of municipal lighting and include additional employees as required for the efficient operation of the department. 101-15 Duties and Responsibilities. The municipal light plant shall be responsible for establishing, maintaining, and operating communication networks intended for public use. The network shall be intended to town of East Long Meadow resident and business use. The municipal light plant may operate the networks on its own or subcontract with a vendor. The municipal light plant shall recommend fees to be set by the town council, provide communication services to residents and businesses that cover the cost to operate the network, plan for growth, budget for repairs and replacements, and other expenses related to the municipal light plant in accordance with MGL Chapter 164. 101-16 Annual Report. The manager of municipal lighting shall annually prepare and submit to the town manager a report that shall contain all matters pertaining to their department as required by the town manager.
Awesome, thank you. Is there any other discussion on this? Okay, hearing none then.
Under 101-5, is it supposed to read? The Director of Information Technology shall be responsible for supervising, coordinating, supervision, and coordination matters.
I think that's a typo.
Okay, just
I think it should say and coordinating matters
that
of
are
Yes.
placed under the
Right.
director's control.
that are
First and
under, right.
That are
So-
placed under.
Yeah.
In case.
So
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
going to be quite a few different little ones.
the committee will catch
Just,
that.
I know, but just.
No, you're right. You're right.
Absolutely right.
Stay on page.
Okay. Any other discussion?
No, that's it.
I would entertain a motion then.
I move to refer to the bylaw review committee for recommendation to the town council, the proposed creation of a municipal technology and communication department, combining IT, LCAT, and creating municipal light plant.
A second.
Having a motion made and seconded, any other discussion? Hearing none, this is a roll call vote. Anna,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Kathy.
Yes.
I'm a yes. Connor,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
and Marilyn.
Yes.
Thank you. We're up to the
E2.
here. E2, proposed amendment of chapter 9718 revolving funds. So, Tom, I believe Kim had found some areas under the general bylaw that for the most part don't need to exist, correct?
Yeah, so the revolving fund bylaw lists 3 accounts specifically. And one of them is not in use and has not been in use for a very long time. So this is sort of deleting that and adding language to the other 2. There's some small information about mattress recycling, which is what they thought that account was going to be used for, which is why they kept it. But the mattress grant does not allow any money going in at all. So that didn't work out. So that's going to go into the health department's solid waste account. The language was sort of changed under the requirements that says the balance of these funds shall not exceed what you appropriate, meaning you can't just let the balances go out of control. It all gets rolled back into the general fund. That's the wording that has changed in column F.
Wasn't this what we were somewhat discussing? I feel like at our last bylaw meeting, mattress recycling, or is this?
Yeah, under the fee schedule.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know if that bore out of that conversation or not.
No, this is
A different
Yeah.
mattress recycling
Kim's
issue.
been reconciling nearly every account that's ever existed in East Long Meadow. This one is not in use and hasn't been for a while, so we want to get it out of the bylaw.
So this would be a first reading of it, correct? As a general bylaw.
It's a revision.
Matt, you want to give it a go?
It would be my absolute pleasure.
You want a color copy or are you good on the computer?
I actually prefer a color copy. But do I just read the for?
You want to read the red changes?
Just read the changes. Yeah.
Read the changes?
That's it?
All right, okay, because I was, all right.
Well, we're a little early.
I know, I could, slowly meander through it. All right, so on the revolving fund, solid waste disposal, number 2805. On column C, fees, charges, or other receipts credited to fund. Trash bag receipts, recycling rebates, and it's added mattress recycling. And then in column F, under other requirements / reports, it has added the balance in the revolving fund account shall not exceed the approved expenditure limit set by town council vote as outlined by section 6.1 of the town charter.
That's the budget article.
Yep.
Yes.
Then revolving fund, council on aging, number 2809. In column F, added the text, the balance in the revolving fund account shall not exceed the approved expenditure limit set by town council vote as outlined by section 6.1 of the town charter. And then revolving fund health department number 2812 has been removed. And that's it.
You got an easy one.
That was easy. Short and sweet.
Okay. Is there any other discussion on it? Would someone like to make a motion then?
I make a motion to refer to the bylaw review committee for recommendation to the town council, the proposed amendment of chapter 97-18 revolving funds.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any other discussion? Hearing none, this is a roll call vote. Marilyn, I'll start with you.
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Connor?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Kathy?
Yes,
Matt?
Yes.
And Anna?
Yes.
Okay, that's all set. Action items for next meeting. Do we have any action items? What's the next meeting? So
You have the license,
meeting is in December,
Well,
license renewals.
which will be all the license renewals.
There's probably a public hearing for a application for East Village for change of manager and alteration of premises.
Okay,
Do we have our fee schedule one?
Are we gonna add?
Because we finished it at our last.
we will see. We are going to do everything I can to get it done in time. Marilyn,
Yes, do we want to put on this agenda the discussion regarding our recording of our roll call votes?
oh yeah, we do have to deal with that.
so at this time, I'm gonna say yes. But it depends on if we have a night like tonight with 6 or 8 public hearings. So technically right now, I would say yes, we're gonna add that on to it.
Thank you.
There'll also be a report by then for the December meeting from the licensing subcommittee with some updates on various items that may require some action by the council.
And do we have a meeting date for the licensing?
This Friday at 2:15.
And I just needed to be reminded, that's all, thank you. Friday, 2:15. Connor, you had something.
Yeah, would we also have the quarterly financial report? Well, since we'd be 2 quarters in.
Actually, we would be. That would be a question I will ask Tom if he can have a quarterly financial report from Kim for us for our next meeting, because we will be 2 quarters in. Tell us the health of East Long Meadow.
oh, I'll forward you the one Olga gave me for September. And then I'll get you one in December. Yeah.
Okay,
Sorry, we're doing them quarterly. You know what? I never sent that to you guys.
right. Good catch, Connor.
Good catch, Connor. So yeah, we already have through September. I can send you that quarter and then I'll get one I'll as soon as I get that email, I'll send it to you. That's my fault.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Anything else?
At the October meeting, a gentleman presented a paint take back recycling
Oh, yeah.
initiative.
He did, and he followed up with me with some basic language and stuff. I will have Jeannie send that out. I've got it at my house, so I will get that to her. I'll have her send it out to you. It's like basic language if we wanted to what do I want to say?
Like proclamation, resolution.
Proclamation, a resolution, yes.
Right.
So yeah, we'll take a look at it. Like I said, I like the idea. There was a few issues that concerned me, that everything that he's doing is all on a volunteer basis. So paint stores aren't required to take it back. They would have to volunteer to take it back, which I don't know, if I was the owner of a store, I would volunteer to take everyone's waste paint back. If I was forced to, that would be something
Well,
different.
and maybe
but-
in a city where there's multiple vendors or businesses that deal with paint
Right.
but
So
How
I
many
think it's
are
something
here
we should look
besides
at
our-
even further. I
right,
think
our
it was
hardware
great for
store.
him to come in and bring it and
Yeah.
trying to get it done. So
Have we historically done resolutions on proposed legislation? Passed? Or would this
I
be?
think we've done one,
This one on the website, I think.
but not often.
But it has happened before.
Yes. Yep.
Other towns have done that in the state for that
Right.
program, so we can look at that too, what that looks like.
I think that would be great.
Maybe an example.
That things don't fall through the cracks. Okay,
That looks like a very developing agenda
Very helpful.
Already.
already.
I'll pull up financial items again.
would there be a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
And I will second that.
Having a motion made and seconded, roll call vote. Anna,
Yes.
Matt? Yes. Kathy?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Connor?
Yes.
Don? And Marilyn.
Yes.
Thank you all very much. Went a lot better than what we thought.
Yes.
Thank you.